I'll tell you like a little bit about product and then maybe how we actually pivoted from 529s into UTMAs and why, because it has an interesting story behind that. But the way UNest helps parents, first of all, it literally takes 5 minutes to set up the account. We just ask a couple questions in the onboarding process. Parents provide their name, address, child's information. We make it very personal and fun. And then they can manage everything on the go. They can get gifts from their friends and family for birthdays, Christmas, like other special occasions for the holidays. They can get rewards, financial rewards from our brand partners. And we have over 150 brand partners on the platform. And those include DoorDash, Disney, Uber Eats, and other famous brands. Every time when our parents shop through those brands, they get rewards right into the child's account. And then we also provide financial literacy piece so parents can actually learn about investing and saving and credit cards and that. And actually this summer, we're also launching another option for parents to buy and hold crypto in the child's account, which again, like there is a lot of demand for this type of solution, and I can tell you why. But even like people who are afraid a little bit of the risk associated with crypto, like volatility, when they think that they're buying this asset class for the next 10, 15, 20 years, they're going to hold it for their kids' future, that risk is obviously mitigated and parents feel more comfortable getting into crypto.
So parents
So
are actually interested in investing in crypto for their kids.
yes, absolutely. So the way we found out about that, we sent a survey to our user base last year, and we asked, like, what is it that you would like to see next on your Nets platform? Is it life insurance, credit card, debit card to help you manage the allowances? Is it crypto stocks? Overwhelming number of parents said they would like to see crypto and stocks as the next product. And when we started inviting people to become user testers, we actually had the calendar of our product manager filled in 10 minutes. That's how much demand there is for this type of solution. People are very interested in crypto. Not only interested in crypto as an asset class, but they are curious to pick different coins. So it's not necessarily Bitcoin or Ethereum. People want to learn about different coins and kind of want to place bets because they want to be in control. They want to be in charge of selecting something that can potentially appreciate over the long time horizon and become a meaningful contribution in child's account.
So, what are some of the challenges that parents face when it comes to investing for their kids that you've noticed, besides the fact that sometimes it's just a lot of information to process?
Yeah, a lot of information to process, I would say, is the main challenge. Parents are typically very confused in terms of the right type of account to use. How is savings account different from 529? What are the limitations? What are the tax advantages? Those are pretty complex account types, right? And parents may not realize that one account may be less suitable for them than another account. Some people think that saving money in the bank account can be a viable option, but they forget about inflation and how that can eat into the purchasing power over time. So I would say just like educational component and also like understanding investments, like what's ETF. I would argue that more people know about crypto right now or more intrigued about crypto compared to traditional, well diversified investing like ETF or mutual fund.
That's true. And so, when it comes to investing, I know you said you moved away, or UNest moved away from 529, which are traditional college, accounts that parents use for college saving or education, right? Into more towards UTMA. So, can you talk to us more about the move and what I think most parents probably don't even know what UTMAs are. So, if you can talk
Yes.
more about that.
Yes, absolutely. So when I left Capital Group, I actually was the biggest fan of 529 accounts because of great tax advantages. I thought like, look, it's investment account. People get a great tax shelter because it's completely tax free. But the one limitation is that you absolutely have to spend it on educational expenses, on college or books, housing related to college, and so on. So when we started the product, the mission was to simplify 529 account. What we realized in the middle of pandemic is that actually for our parents that represent UNest, user-based UNest community, 529s is not the best solution for a couple of reasons. First, some parents not necessarily confident that they will need money for college or their kid will go to college and they want the flexibility. So what happens with 529, if you do not end up spending it for educational needs, you lose all tax advantages. And the gains are getting penalty of 10% because government is trying to incentivize people to save specifically for that one goal, for education. So if parents are not confident, it doesn't suit their needs. The second thing is that parents have different priorities for the kids. Some parents basically said, I just want to save for my kid's first car. And then we realized, well, the mission of the company is not to simplify for 529s. The mission of the company is actually help parents save and invest for the kids' brighter future. And that can mean different things for different parents. And then when we started making that analysis and understanding what could be that alternative to 529s that would meet the needs of our community of parents better, we identified UTMA or Atma Agma, as some people know it, as a more viable option. It's also an investment account, but it's more flexible. You don't have to spend it on educational expenses. You just have to spend it for the benefit of the child. It has amazing tax advantages as well, especially if you're not contributing too much during the 15-year period. And it has flexibility in terms of the assets that you can invest in. So, for example, crypto that I mentioned, or some alternative investments or individual stocks that are not traditionally available in 529s actually can be invested in UTMA account.
So before we started recording, you mentioned that you have 3 kids. So how are you as a parent investing for your kids?
So I do both. I have 529 accounts and I have UTMA accounts through UNest, and I get gifts from my friends and family through the app. So the interesting thing about 529s compared to UTMAs is that 529s are definitely designed for wealthier people that can max out their accounts that are looking for the tax shelter. UTMAs are designed for everyone else, for like 95% of parents. And another cool thing is that parents are actually not limited to one versus another as long as they're not contributing outside of the limit, which is typically 15,000 per parent or 30,000 per household. So I take advantage of both.
And so you left the corporate world to launch UNest, a fintech startup. And I've read so many different articles about the challenges that women face when it comes to raising capital. I think the percentage is less than 2% your capital actually goes to women. And so I'm curious to hear about how the experience of raising, I believe you've raised $40 million for UNest so far.
38.
38, yes. So how has the experience been for you?
I would say the experience is not easy for any first time entrepreneur. And I was a first time entrepreneur and I was a solo founder. And some of the challenges probably just applicable to the fact that that was my first startup. And some of the challenges maybe were correlated to the fact that I was a woman in this male dominated industry of fintech. But I would also say that every time it gets easier and easier. When you build the strong team and you build traction and you attract very strong investors, the next round already has some validation. And the Series A and Series B much, much easier than my first round. During the first round of funding, I would say it took me about 6 months and probably at least 100 meetings with investors to get the round done. So it definitely, it's a lot of grind and hustling and going around the country and talking to people. But in my mind, I would say success consists of three main factors. It's education, hard work, and adversity. If you don't face adversity, like you rarely come to success. And when money come easy, sometimes they also go as easy, right? You don't value that experience if you get investment from investors in an easy way. So despite any challenges, I would say I'm still like very grateful for the experience that I had during my first fundraising round.
And so this show is called the Dreamers Podcast. And hearing your story, how you moved here at 18 with $500 and now starting this fintech that is helping parents build wealth for their families. I mean, looking back, did you think that that's what the journey was going to look like?
Oh, of course not. Who would have known? uh, I couldn't predict this even like 4 years ago. It was interesting that when I got into UCLA to get my MBA, I was actually exposed to a lot of different areas and a lot of different people. But I really thought that I will just get education in finance and investments and I will build a very successful career in the corporate world. That was my aspiration. My path to entrepreneurship was very different and non-traditional compared to a lot of people, but I also value the fact that I was able to learn about the industry first and get the main expertise and actually become an expert in my field and have that confidence that I'm the right person to solve this problem.